Miss Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes. Next item will be the statement by the Board Vice President, Mr. Steve Majors.
Give me a minute. As we begin this meeting, let us pause for a 60-second moment of silence to reflect, meditate, pray, or engage in any other silent activity. Thank you.
Next item will be the Pledge of Allegiance by the Board Clerk, Mr. Jerry Denton.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Well, finally, the next item is the oath of the office for Mr. Jerry Denton. You guys can come over here. 6 foot away.
Start with the oath of office and then afterwards complete that with the board. You have me. I, Jerry Denton, hereby declare under oath. I, Jerry Denton, hereby declare under oath that I will faithfully perform the duties of the board member of Broken Arrow. Public schools to the best of my ability. And that I will faithfully discharge all the duties pertaining to said office. And obey the Constitution and laws of the United States of Oklahoma. And Oklahoma. Loyalty oath. I, Jerry Denton, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States of America and the Constitution and laws of the State of Oklahoma. And that I will faithfully discharge, according to the best of my ability, the duties of my office or employment during such time as I am a member of the Broken Arrow Board of Education. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mr. Denton.
Thank you. Another 5.
Took a while. Good things are worth
It
waiting
did.
for. Okay, next item will be discussion and vote on the board reorg. Discussion.
I don't have a discussion.
So, discussion is that I definitely feel like, you guys have done a great job at the president, vice president positions, and so personally, I'd like to keep that as is. I think y'all have done well with leading the board, and so that's really my proposal. I don't have the, I think with the time constraints and things like that, that's why I think, with your leadership there, it works well for us.
I appreciate that. It's
Thank you,
definitely
Jerry.
an honor.
I'd agree.
Appreciate that.
And then, as for the board clerk, I would nominate Ms. Brandy Roulette,
Okay.
for you to possibly, enjoy the pleasures of the board clerk. No, and honestly, it's one of those things that I think it's good to get exposure to some of those deals, and, you know, it's not a tough job. You know, you have to keep Mr. Allen in line every once in a while, but, no, I'm just kidding. So, but I would nominate you for this position here, and, you know, John, if you want to remain board clerk, deputy clerk, I would be happy to keep it that way as well.
That works for me.
Whatever's the pleasure of the board. It's definitely an honor to work with all of you and serve this position for sure. So I will do anything I can to help.
Appreciate that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to officially nominate Brandy then to.
Do you want to do them all?
How
Because I think
do we
need to
do
do
it?
them one by one. Last time I think we did them all at one time in one motion.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can do them all with the one. I'd like to make a motion that we keep all of the positions the same as they are right now, with the one exception of nominating Brandy into the board clerk position.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Miss Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes. And I personally want to thank each of you for your vote of confidence. It
Yep.
means a lot.
Me
and,
too.
Again, I will work very hard to
Me
do the
too.
best I can in this position, so thank you all. Next item will be to vote. I'm not going to read this to you. I know you all have had this and read the Code of Ethics
Mhm.
for the school board member through the Board of Education. So if there's any discussion, if not, I'd entertain a motion.
I definitely agree with the code of ethics and the conduct, appreciate that, and so I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Miss Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes, thank you. Next item will be to approve the June 29th meeting minutes. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Miss Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes, my button's not working, but yes.
Yeah, it's not letting us click yes. Oh, there it went.
There we go.
Thank you.
Mine
Little-
has, I've
little
been
lag.
failing to do it. Yes. I
That's
forgot about
clerk's
the
duty,
button,
you know.
yes. Just ship's going down.
Next item will be discussion to approve the July 1st board meeting minutes, the special board meeting minutes. Any discussion?
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Miss Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes, thank you. Next item, number 9, Mr. Perry.
Good evening. I would like to bring forth a candidate this evening for you for the Director of Public Relations position for the district that's currently open. I would like to recommend Adam Foreman as the new Director of PR. He is coming back home. He actually was a Broken Arrow guy from 2002 to 2016. Survived several superintendents during that time period. He was a webmaster and graphic artist, publication specialist, and kind of a jack of all trades in our communications division. These past 3 or 4 years, he has been the Director of Marketing at the Tulsa Performing Arts Center and has done a great job there. He has a journalism degree from NSU, and just think he's just the perfect fit. Interviewed numerous candidates for the position, had a lot of interest, and Mr. Foreman really came out and won the job through the interview process. He's very creative, understands the importance of branding. He understands the importance of representing Broken Arrow Public Schools and protecting Broken Arrow Public Schools has great relationships with the media with his current job, and just, I think, will be a great spokesperson for the district. So, Mr. Foreman, I'm excited about it. He'll work in conjunction with Ms. Tina Dixon, our Director of Communications, and our Director of Aerovision, Greg Spencer, and pull all three of those teams together to make a very powerful and I think impactful team that will, you're going to see great things happen from that group and their teams also over the next couple of years.
Awesome.
Any
Cool.
discussion?
That's cool.
Oop.
Welcome back.
Can we get a motion, sir?
Yes.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second that motion.
Motion and second, please call the roll.
Ms. Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes. Mr. Foreman, welcome home. It's good to have you.
Would you like to introduce your husband tonight?
Actually, this is our one-year anniversary tonight, so.
All
Oh,
right.
hey.
Thank you.
Brandy, it looks like, did you vote?
I did, but my button's not working now.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's not doing, it's doing
Hit and
something
miss.
crazy. Hit and miss. You're able to record that manually?
Yes.
Thank you.
Got it.
Next item, Ms. James.
Good evening, President Allen and board members. I'm here this evening to place before you for your vote a motion to approve or disapprove the offer of employment to Nicole Gorbett at Childers Elementary as an assistant principal intern. Nicole has actually been in education for over 10 years. Of the last five and a half, she's been with us at Childers. She has served a lot of roles. She's been our department chair, she's been a grade level lead, she's worked on curriculum for our social studies. She's helped a lot. She's been an asset to that leadership team in the past few years working on framework of interventions. We feel like this, the success that Nicole will have is that she already has those relationships built with students and the families and the staff as she moves into that position. On a side note, we actually, Broken Arrow Public Schools nominated her to receive the Brock Fellowship Scholarship, which allowed her to get her master's in educational leadership. So she used that to actually complete her, her certification. One thing that I would say that Ms. Replogle stated about her is that really Mrs. Gorbett embodies our district's core values and is a perfect example of us raising and growing our own administrators as they move forward and grow in their professional growth. So I would like to put that forward for you guys to vote and approve on that hire.
Cool.
Any discussions or questions?
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Motion and second, please call the roll.
Ms. Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes, she here this
Yeah,
evening?
she
Wanna
sure
introduce-
is with her husband and her mother, yeah.
All right.
Only my mom is.
Yeah.
I bring my kids, so I just brought my mom. I want to thank you for the opportunity and, what a year to start putting myself into this, so might as well hit the ground running.
That's it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. James. Next item is comments from the public. We have none. The next item will be to approve the consent agenda, items 13 through 55.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors.
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes. Thank you. Next
Yeah.
item will be
Boo.
56, will be to approve the 2021 regular board meeting dates for the next school year. You may have any discussion on those that were in base camp. You may have a hard copy at your site, so is there any questions or discussion on those?
Mm-mm. Good to go. Make a motion to approve?
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes, thank you. Next item, 57. I believe everybody has a copy of it. It's the subcommittee realignment and dates for
Mhm.
subcommittees. Does anybody have any discussion on that? Questions?
Nope.
And it has the dates there as well. So.
Yeah, I don't think Carla wants me in hers. Just kidding.
And I will say, I know a lot of the leadership team is for these are in there. Obviously, I think we can utilize Zoom remote abilities to do these, so we can get participation from everyone. So to make it easier for us that way to communicate and have those.
Cool.
Any discussion
that's a
on the
good idea.
realignment or the dates on those? Or have any problems with them?
Any, no conflicts? All right. Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Miss Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors.
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes, thank you. Next item, Ms. Goodacre. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
It's been a while.
But my glasses are clogged up.
I know. That's what I was telling Debbie. I was like, man,
You
these babies.
can't win. I'm bringing you tonight the commodity processing prices for the 2020-2021 school year, and ask for your approval. These are bid through our Tulsa buying group. Any questions?
Just for, are you seeing, what are you seeing prices doing now through the commodities?
Going up?
Are they?
And the availability, just in the last few days, we've gotten Tyson, several of them have called us or sent us letters saying that some of the better items that we use for the schools are going to retail, and they're not going to produce them for schools.
Hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
that makes it tough. I have a good friend that's in the food services industry, and that seems to be a common theme,
Yes.
that the availability. So do we anticipate any disruption or anything with some of the
We
food
already,
materials, and what's our contingency?
you know, we have other manufacturers we can go to.
Okay.
So I don't really, and since we're behind, since we were out of school March, April,
Oh,
and
yeah.
May, we do have a little bit of a stockpile.
Oh,
Freeze
okay.
all that
So-
chicken?
Pardon?
Did you freeze all that chicken?
Yes. So,
Okay.
I think we'll be fine. We found, I mean, we've already been told we may not be able to get pulled pork, some pork items, but, you
Okay.
know, you just do what you can.
True. Y'all got it under control.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Appreciate it. So, make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Miss Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors.
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes. Okay, Ms. Goodacre, next item.
The next item is to approve, because of school closing, we didn't get to take all of our allocations from our commodity processing for the last school year. And they've given us till October 31st to take them this year. And so this next item is just for you to reapprove the money we're gonna spend from last year to this year.
Cool.
Questions, discussion?
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second that motion.
A motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Miss Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors.
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Thornton?
Good evening, President Allen, members of the board. I am bringing before you this evening for your consideration. We are, as you guys have heard me say before, we're struggling to keep school psychologists. It's just there aren't a lot of programs in our state near us that produce school psychologists, and so, you know, oftentimes they want to live near home, and so we're always looking. So we've contracted previously with Rehab Source for Kids, and we're continuing to do so. However, they didn't have any other psychologists available, and we had a run of hiring for a little while, but then one psychologist, her husband was transferred to Denver, and another one, her husband took a superintendent's job far away, so then we lost two right away. So we found another company who had one, and that's what this contract is. It's just for another full-time psychologist
Okay.
through contract. And psychologists are figuring out they can make more money if they work for companies that contract them out, rather than actually working for the schools. But, of course, do you have any questions about that?
This all paid with grant funds, it says?
Uh-huh, with,
Wow.
out of 621.
Nice. All right, make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and second, please call the roll.
Ms. Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes, thank you. Next item, Ms. James.
Good evening. At this time, for the board, I'd like to put forward you guys considering our elementary and our secondary handbooks that we put forth. Just as an update for you, we worked with Oklahoma State School Board Association to make sure that we were including everything that needed to be added due to the virtual piece in distance learning, to make sure that when we said instruction, it encompassed the distance or the face-to-face or that blended. So we made a few updates on that, made sure our policies were up to date. And then in addition to that, we just changed some of the information on our, since we moved back this year from our Late Start Wednesday, we just made some updates to the times. So those are the basic changes that we made to both handbooks this year. So I'd like to place that before you guys to approve or disapprove of accepting those handbooks for this coming school year.
Any discussion?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and second, please call the roll.
Ms. Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes. All right, next item, Ms. James.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to put forward for your discussion to vote to approve or disapprove an agreement with us and Edmentum. Edmentum is our virtual programming that we're going to be working with for pre-K through 8th grade to do our virtual. Edmentum, we looked at 2 or 3 different companies that we reviewed. We had a team and a committee, Mr. Bowser and some other representation and some admins looked at it with us. The biggest piece is very engaging. Some of the complaints we get about Edgenuity for 9th through 12th grade is that it's a bit dry. It's hard to sit through. There's a lot of videos and things that kids pre-K through 8 we felt would not be able to sit through and be successful. So Edmentum really brought a lot to the table. It was very robust, it's engaging, it's user-friendly, and it's age-appropriate. So we, at this time, I put into place for 700 online licenses. I'll probably be coming back to you guys next month to up this number, as we are currently, our numbers are growing significantly in our BAVA, in our virtual academy. So at this time, I'm asking you to approve the licenses and our agreement with this company for 700 online licenses for pre-K through 8th grade at the cost of $350,000. We will be paying for this through our textbook funds the state's allocating for us for social studies books. So we are looking at trying to offset this cost that we're incurring with adding this additional curriculum. So,
What other districts use this curriculum?
we've had several in the state. Golly, I'm so sorry, President Allen, just because you asked me that, my names went totally off. We had Jinx considered it and looked at it and used it, and there was another place that we're looking at. Is it Norman? Oh gosh, I apologize. Yes, and our consortium. Yes, thank you, Ms. Dice.
So it's just through 8th grade, right?
Yeah, you can do.
K through 12, you wanna explain that, Ms. James?
Yes, absolutely. We can do 9th through 12th grade. But 9th through 12th grade, we currently work through our consortium through Tulsa Tech. They kind of get all of the schools together and we come together and we all get a better price because as a consortium, we're going in for the bid. So this current year, we sat down because most of the schools around us wanted to move to Edmentum through 9 through 12, just because of those things I just shared with you. But it was a short turnaround. It was tough to get the contract, and Tulsa Tech felt like with COVID and stuff, we were struggling. So they said, let's just stay with Edgenuity this year, give them another year to increase what they're providing for us and increase the effectiveness of their product, and then go back out to vote as a consortium in the spring if we choose to move to Edmentum. I look for us to move to that just because, like I said, it is a quality. Because what it is they've gone with the Calvert Learning System, so you're not just getting one curriculum. You're getting access to Pearson. You're getting access to 6 or 7 other programs. So they've gone out and bidded all those different curriculums, pull it together to make a better quality and better resources. One thing that we really liked about this as well, and I know Ms. Thornton could attest to this, is that it provides a lot of modifications and accommodations for our students with learning disabilities. So it's reading to them. It has the language, has up to 100 different languages that it will read to and speak to in their language and help translate what we're doing. So I look for us 9 through 12 to go ahead and mint them as a consortium, but I think they've just delayed to give us time to do more of the legwork and really take time to look through everything, so.
You made the comment there's probably going to be more.
Yes, sir. As of today, our numbers are showing us about 1,000 kids, that's including pre-K through 12th grade, who've gone full virtual. Of that, about 700, we're like sitting at 640 pre-K through 8th grade. So, but the neat thing is every time I've gone back to them, they keep giving us discounts. And I also, because I'm not above, I told Carla I'm not above using anything. I was like, hey, we have a vote of what we're going to do with 9th through 12th grade next spring. Not saying anything, but I'm just saying, that we do have that vote and we're open to consideration. So they're like, we're going to get back to you. If you go up above that, they've already given us a $200 per license discount, but I think they will continue making more adjustments for us to make it cost efficient because it is expensive.
I would think that school our size and the amount of students we have, we can do a set rate just for the whole district.
Yeah, and I would think so, and I think we get to that point, we probably could do that. They're not willing to do that right now. They make more money doing it per license as opposed by site, most of our people. Edgenuity doesn't do that. It's not a common thing yet. I think with as much need as we're going to have moving forward, those programs will be forced to go to that way, or we're going to have to say, hey, listen, we could, for that money, we'll just write our own curriculum and put it out there. But for now, I do feel like it is a really quality that I think our kids will be successful with, so.
Thanks for the explanation. Appreciate it.
Anything
Any
I
other
can do?
questions, discussion?
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Motion and second, please call the roll.
Ms. Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors.
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next item, Mr. Bowser.
Good evening, all. This is part of our, the item before you tonight is part of our continued life cycle replacement of phone systems around the district. So this will address 3 of the last 6 sites. With this been ongoing for probably 5-ish years. Is that correct? Yeah,
At least.
7 years. Wow, it's been going on for a long time because, as you can tell, it's it's an expensive process. So, but this will address these next 3 sites. We'll probably, I anticipate to have it done by fall break. So it's usually a relatively quick process.
Cool.
I'm assuming you got more than one bid?
They have a state contract. VIP has state contracts. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Real quick before we vote.
Sure.
Debbie, it looks like we're on the wrong item. Okay.
Yes, I'm
Thank you.
trying to get it to go forward.
Okay.
Nope.
Or backwards.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
There is that, nope, it's one more.
Yeah, I'm on the financial report here.
Yeah.
Why don't we just do a
I'll
hard
just do it
count,
manually.
record it, and then
Yeah.
we'll move. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second that motion.
Motion second, please call the roll.
Ms. Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Majors.
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes, thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Bowser. Next item, Ms. Enoff.
Good evening,
Tell us all about all the money we have.
President Allen, members of the board. So this is a really exciting time in finance because we're wrapping up the end of a year, a rather unexpected year, but the main thing I did want to stress and emphasize to the board tonight is Broken Arrow and Common Education as a whole did not suffer any cuts to end the 1920 school year. So that was definitely a positive for us. So all of the revenue that we've been projecting, all of the expenses pretty much came in on track, as you'll see in a few slides. But just to review kind of where we're going from here, we're expecting a couple important milestones over the next couple months. We should be receiving our initial state aid allocation and state allocations, as Ms. James mentioned, the textbook allocation, state aid, our flex benefit by the end of this week. So that will be our first indicator as to what the cuts will actually be for the 2020-2021 school year. I've been doing my own projections, pulling out my crystal ball, but we'll see, hopefully by the end of the week, what the initial cuts will be. The second important milestone that we'll be watching very carefully is our district valuation. We receive a valuation from Tulsa and Wagner County, and that will set our projected ad valorem property tax collections. Those collections aren't due to the district until January, but as you know, those collections are so very, very important to us because really they're our most stable point of revenue. So those values typically come in the 1st of August, and from there they will be plugged into our estimate of needs cash audit, which is basically an audit of all of our major funds, bond funds, to set kind of that beginning budget. So I will go through these rather quickly. State aid came in $56 million, just as projected ad valorem, and that carried through building fund. And you can see the discrepancy of child nutrition funds with revenue basically stopping when the district shut down in March. So discrepancy there. Expenses, salaries and benefits came in as projected with the state mandated raise that went into last year, as well as the large investment that we made into our teacher compensation schedule, and also the support salary schedule that were approved for custodial staff last year. And so really at this point we'll be projecting our ending fund balance as we complete and finish the estimate of needs audit, and I'll be hopefully reporting next month on our projected district valuation and state aid allocation. May I answer any questions?
Good job.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Next item's new business. We have none. Next item will be to move to executive session.
Make a motion that we move to executive session.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Thank you all. All right, we need to acknowledge that we return to open session.
I acknowledge we return to open session.
Oh, yeah. Board of Education, Michelle Bergwald, Carla Dice, and Chuck Perry entered into executive session at 6:36 p.m. To discuss the purchase of certain real property in accordance with OS 25, Section 307B3. The Board of Education, Michelle Bergwald, Carla Dice, and Chuck Perry returned to open session at 7:21 p.m. This constitutes the minutes of the executive session.
That's your last time, isn't it, Jerry?
Amen.
So, on item 68, we're going
Sucker.
to need to vote
Sucker.
to either disapprove or approve moving forward. We would approve? Okay. So, in the motion, we'll need to say that we vote to void the, or
Disapprove the real estate, yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the chief operating officer to negotiate and/or possibly close and discuss on the property within the terms discussed within the executive session, within available funds for the purchase or sale of the land. Sure that's right.
I don't think that's right.
No, I think we're disapproving it.
We're going to,
Pull the mask off. You mean,
we're approving
do what now? Say
real
that
estate
again?
purchase.
I kind of feel like you would approve what we discussed in today's executive session because we had made a different decision in the previous
Okay.
session.
Okay.
Just approve the decision that was made in the executive session.
Because it says discussion, vote to approve or
The
disapprove
purchase.
the real estate contracts for the purchase.
Yeah, it's saying we're buying it here. We're either gonna tell you yes to buy it or no to buy it. Isn't that what, way I'm reading it?
Why don't we just table it and we'll use the last motion from the last regular session as we discussed it?
Okay. Because you're gonna do your due diligence anyway, because you already got that approval to do that, correct? And,
Right.
we can,
Yeah, I see what you're saying. If we just table it and then we don't have to worry about
We'll get the correct language figured out on how to make that motion.
I mean, you're not gonna do what we don't want you to do anyway,
Just
so.
recommend that we table number 68 and come back, that's what.
All right, so we'll make the motion now to table item 68.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second, please call the roll.
Miss Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item will be to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second, please call the roll.
Miss Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.